Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the newest edition of the Bronx Muchachos podcast. I'm your host for tonight, Mark, and we got Dave.
What's going on, everybody? Happy almost spring training. Whoop, whoop.
And we got Alex with us tonight.
Evening, everybody. Missed you.
All right, everyone, you guys all know what the drill is. Subscribe, rate, review, like on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Odyssey, Amazon, any place else you get it. If you're watching, don't forget hit the like button on YouTube, hit the subscribe button for 5 reasons. And just to let everyone know, this first segment is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek's the best way to browse, find, and buy all your tickets for sporting events or even concerts. So use the promo code Bronx Muchachos, all one word, all capital letters, to get your discounts on anything you're trying to get. So, fellas, we're a week away from spring trainings, from pitchers and catchers, P's and C's coming in. So let's ask this question: what is everyone looking forward to? Alex, you go first.
Oh, well, mine is actually pretty recent. Actually, the news just came out that MLB is planning on experimenting with allowing pitchers to call their own pitch comp signals during spring training. And that's something I'm actually looking forward to because it's a way of bringing in more of a field general role for the pitcher, so that way they could actually have let's say you're Rodon and Mike Trout's coming up, and you know what you like to pitch to Mike Trout, let's say, because you've pitched to him before or whatever, like, okay, and you know what you want to pitch to him, and the first time that the catcher was giving you the calls that you didn't want, now you're like, no, this is the call I want, and then boom, let's do it. So it's like you could do a chess game now. So I like that idea. It impacts the game and gives it more of a dynamic, in my opinion, that it deserves.
I get you. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only downside to this whole thing, and I think that this was something they were trying last year, was that if certain pitchers were calling their own game, it's just that how loud the earpiece is going to be, so that the batter doesn't hear it. So I guess at some point they're going to have to figure out when they're allowed to do it. When they're going, if it's the minute they get the ball back, they turn around, they punch it in, and the catcher gives the nod. Everyone, because it's not just the catcher, it's the shortstop and the center fielder also have that intercom thing, so they can hear what the pitches are, so they can adjust everybody accordingly. So,
100%. I agree. But remember, they're all on a pitch count anyway. So since they're on a pitch count and they're on a timer, they're going to have to be rapid about it. So they're going to have to do it while everyone's making noise and everything like that. So that way the hitter doesn't even hear it. And they probably have to even perfect it so that way the catcher hears it. So maybe they did try it last year, like you said. And you said that the hitters were hearing it for something like that, right?
There's some that were able to, or even the umpires were able to hear it. The umpires kind of, I think definitely in spring training they were doing that, and in spring training the umpires going, you can't do it. Like, I can hear it, so I know he hears it. So
yeah, perfect. The perfect time to test this out is spring training. Like, you're not going to want to test it out in the regular season. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. Davey boy, what about you? What are you excited for?
There's a lot, from the player standpoint to the technology standpoint to whole other things. But one thing I'm excited for this year is the Ghost Runner is bye-bye. That was probably the most maddening thing to watch over the last 2 years. But on the flip side, how many of those games would we have lost between those 2 seasons had we not had the Ghost Runner? So, I mean, it goes both ways, but I'm excited to see what the bigger bases do and how that affects the caught stealing percentage for catchers.
It helps Jose Altuve make it to him bag quicker because he's so small.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can have guys stealing 40, 50, 60 bases. I mean, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it plays a role. And also it's going to be interesting to see how the pitch clock affects pitchers like Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Carlos Rodon, Jake DeGrom, like guys that have been in the league for a while versus the kids that are just coming up that already had exposure to this last season. So that's what I'm excited to see going into spring training this year.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm looking forward to pitch count too. I want Grandpa to go a little faster at baseball. I want to actually, I got things to do. I don't want to be watching a baseball game for like 4 hours.
Well, when the Red Sox and Yankees play each other, it's going to be like a 10-hour game anyway, regardless of whatever they
Hey,
try to do. For some
hey, man,
reason,
I'll
it just
take it.
seems
Hey,
to
I'll
go
take it. I'll
longer.
take it. Fine. So we have some fights in between, make the game longer. I'll take it. Okay. Give me a show then.
No, I hear you, man. I think there's like you said, Dave. There's a lot of cool things. The bigger bases, no more Ghost Runner. I mean, on a personal note for myself, I'm excited for. There's actually going to be a real open open tryout for shortstop. That it's the person who's got the leg up is Peraza. Volpe's is coming up there, and he's getting a legit shot. Whatever they're giving the IKF probably a legit shot at winning the job back as well. I think that really for the first time, like one of the major positions that the Yankees have will be open. It will be an open season. It'll be open job hunt. And another interesting thing, which we're going to be touching on a little bit later with the WBC, that Gleyber Torres is playing for Venezuela, so he's not going to be in spring training camp with the guys for a while, and that means that second base is going to be open, which possibly means that Anthony Volpe might be sliding over to second base. So there's a chance we will see in spring training how Peraza and Volpe work together at short and second. So, for me, I'm happy about that stuff. Happy to see Austin Wells coming up there. Really excited to see how Dominguez shows off in spring training. I'm not going to say that he's going to impress everybody or blow everyone out the water, but for him to get brought up to get a non-roster invite to spring training just to show everyone the potential that he can do, that bodes well for what the Yankees farm system has, what the future holds for the Yankees, because there's going to be, after this year, there's going to be openings. There's going to be an opening in center field, possibly openings in left field. Third base is going to be open. So we're going to see openings, there's going to be job opportunities to be filled in, especially when they have Judge making $40 million, Cole making 36, Rodon making 28 to 30 or something like that. Stanton making 27 million. They're going to need to fill in the roles with young, high end talent to come up and making 750K and so on and so forth. So to see the evolution to have everyone kind of begin to progress and then ascend into the positions that we all are hoping for. The kind of thing that the previous baby bombers kind of fell short with, that this group that is going to be coming up has the potential of being head and shoulders above everybody, all those guys that came up, include, even with Judge being part of that baby bombers team, these guys here have the potential of being greater than the sum of those parts that we had in the past.
I agree. The thing is about this group of baby bombers, you have guys that can mash, you have guys that can play defense, you have guys that can steal bases, you have guys that can hit for contact. And in that last group, there was none of that. All they did was hit home runs. That's all they did, was just hit bombs. Didn't really work out except for Judge. He's the only one that panned out of that group. And I will say that Alex and I were talking about this before we started the show tonight, that it's going to – Gleyber going and playing in the World Baseball Classic is just going to benefit Peraza and Volpe and players like that, because – or just minor leaguers in general that will have an opportunity to play every day while these guys are off in Miami playing these World Baseball Classic games, and possibly have trade value attached to them at the end of spring training to go in a deal to make a move for, say, a left fielder that we desperately need to address. As far as an opening in center field next year, depending on the season that Harrison Bader has this year, I don't think the Yankees just let him go. I could very easily see them keeping him around on a 2 to 3 year contract extension. And then maybe platoon or flip-flop every so often, him and Dominguez between center and left field. That's just what I think.
But in order for that to happen, then we need to kind of get rid of anybody and everybody that would be for left field. That means you got to try to get rid of Hicks. That means you got to try to get rid of Hicks. It means Cabrera has to be your super utility. That means Florial is gone. There's a lot of dominoes that come into play there. I think that, personally speaking, is Harrison Bader ended the year on a high note for everyone, which was awesome. But you have to see that over the whole year. And the history shown that over the whole year he's really, really good Gold Glove defender, but offensively he hadn't really stuck it, and he's going to be, I think, 30 this season. So, do you want to lock up for? You want to give 2 years and do the whole spot holding, and we're gonna hold this position until someone comes over, or are we going to turn around and say, you know what? Let's see what we find. Let's see what we have. We got enough money on the books right now. Let's just do it. We've been pounding the pavement on these kids. Peraza, Volpe, Dominguez. They're the top 3 guys. Everyone knows the names. Let's see what they got. Let's move them forward. Let's give Dunham can. I think Dunham's is a dark horse to take over not center field. Excuse me. It's a dark horse to be in left field at some point this year. Really think that's the key. He's that kind of guy. He's the dirty shirt kind of guy, like a Brett Gardner in a sense. Like he just succeeds when he moves forward. I think especially if he can get a little time at first base, being a lefty bat too. That's a sleeper. That's a sleeper right there, at least for me. The nodding of heads from both Alex and Dave agree. Give me the agreement. Sometimes we forget it's not just a video show; it's an audio show too.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, I'd be really hard pressed to let Bader go to another team if he has a monster season. I mean, we saw what he did last year in a small sample size. If you have 162 games of that, you're gonna let that walk for a lottery ticket of a kid? I mean, I'm not saying Dominguez is a lottery ticket by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
but
you are.
No, stop. I still think he has a potential to be a
superstar. It's just that that's a winning lottery ticket. I'm just saying, That's a Powerball.
But Dave, I get what you're saying, but I'm also taking a look at this saying that his numbers, he hasn't had like the great numbers before. So, I'm pulling up some of the stuff right now. I mean,
even if you keep him around,
6 years, he's a 240. He's a 245. He's a 245 outfielder. Batting average.
I mean, if you can find a way to move Florial and Hicks and keep Bader as your 4th outfielder, I mean, call it a win. Do I think he's going to stay and be a 4th outfielder?
I can see it.
No.
I can see if you can get Hicks off the team, if you can get Florial off the team, I can see Bader being the guy for a couple of years, kind of the placeholder until Pereira or Jones comes up and wins that job outright. So if you do it at a decent enough money that you can kind of you can then move him to somewhere else, why not?
Let's not forget too that some of these guys
we're talking that
by the time this all happens, some of these guys are going to be Rule 5 eligible. So you got to take that into account too.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. A lot at the end of this year. Go for it, Alex.
Yeah. It's like, Dave, I get where you're coming from, Dave. Like, do you want to keep what you're worried about the future, and I get that. I really do get where you're coming from, all that stuff. But like, I mean, I don't see Bader staying forever either. Like, I mean, maybe a year or two. But like, I would rather see what we have coming down the line than caring about our money going where it doesn't need to go. Like I think it's all been proven now for us that our team, we need to continue working on from the minors. We need to continue working on that area. We cannot continue going for the old school way of let's just keep on. Oh, we got this guy in a trade. We're going to keep this guy, even if this guy's like a has-been now. Like, we can't look at it with the drunk girlfriend eyes. Okay, we gotta look at it with the eyes that are like, yeah, we can't be at the bar. We can't be at the bar, but like, dang, that girl looks good, but we're drunk. We're drunk as hell. Let's be real. But then it's like we wake up in the morning like, nah, man, she wasn't that good. Like, we don't. I'm not fully sold on the Bader.
Alex and his beer goggles, man.
Hey, bro.
Best analogy I've heard all the whole time we've been doing this. Only took 69 episodes to get this one in here.
Wait a minute, this is episode 69. What?
Yeah, man.
69.
Oh God, I shouldn't even open my mouth.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving
Hey,
on.
I'm just saying, man.
Those jokes just write themselves at that point.
Yeah.
You set it up. You kind of set it up. You kind of said it. I was like, well, I gotta say now.
No, you didn't.
So, all right.
Yes,
So
I did.
all right. So here, here. Let's keep this train rolling here. So we're all have a bunch of things ready for spring training. So let's take this to the next level then. What are we excited for the regular season? Dave, you take this. Start with this one.
I would like us not to maybe fall apart after the All-Star break like we did last year. I would like to see everybody stay healthy this year. No more freak injuries or cutting themselves shaving and having to miss half a season. Hopefully these guys didn't work on perfecting their golf swings in the offseason too much to affect them swinging a baseball bat. So yeah, I mean, my number one excitement is to see Oswald Peraza as the everyday shortstop. That's what I'm most excited to see.
That's nice. I'm looking forward to another world championship there.
Well, let's
Just
get
bypass
past the
it.
Astros and the ALCS first.
I don't care about
Like,
anything else. I just
can
want
we
the championship.
can we win a game against the Astros first before we start World Series dreaming?
Well, we won the game against them. Guess what? I think we're all gonna be like, just bow down to the Kings because we're the champs again. That's how we're all gonna feel if that happens.
Okay,
But
I'm with that. I'm looking forward to the balanced schedule as opposed to the unbalanced schedule that
Yes.
we've had for years.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to the fact that crappy divisions aren't going to have that advantage over everybody anymore. That everyone's going to have an equal opportunity or a
Yes.
more equal opportunity to play good teams and bad teams. I think it's going to be good for the health of baseball that teams like the Padres, the Yankees, the Mets, they'll go to every stadium. Every stadium's going to get their little piece of the pie because they're going to show up. I think that something Alex brought up during our side chats was about Jim Bowden mentioned something this past week about the possibility of a realignment, and that's something I've heard that was being kicked around not Yankee land, but in baseball in totality, how they're going to be more regional.
And then we found out. Didn't we also find out about like the expansions?
Well, it's not that wasn't really happening. What Bowden was saying is that these are the possibilities. It wasn't that this is what isn't going to happen per se, but after the Rays and the A's both lock in their new stadiums.
Did you hear about the? Okay, I'll let you say that first because I heard news about the A's. One of the places they're thinking of.
Okay, yeah. So we'll swing right to you. But the A's and the Rays have to lock in their stadiums before there's going to be any expansion of baseball. So once the Rays look like they're closer to possibly looking to lock in their deals with St. Petersburg to build a brand new stadium right next to the Tropicana, and it won't be the Tropicana field, which is a plus for everybody under the sun because that was a dump of a stadium.
Yay.
And then the A's, they're not going to stick around in Oakland, so who knows? You've heard the stories about them moving to Vegas. I know, Alex, you just said you knew something, so I'll swing it to you.
That's what I was going to say. You already said it. That's the one I was going to say. Vegas.
Yeah, because and the reason why Vegas is not just because of the the Raiders moved over there is because but with the A's it's the airwave rights, the air rights that they can't get past with the Giants. The Giants own the air market from like down all the way down to like San Jose or something like that, and that's where they want to go. There's a huge region that San Francisco owns the air rights, and Oakland had to lease them. And they won't give up any of those rights, so Oakland has to leave that whole area in order to get more revenue in. So,
I mean, who knows? Those rights might not be needed much longer anyway. If Sinclair actually happens with the Sinclair group, and they sell over to they can't pay their bills, and MLB decides, we're gonna just take over and start streaming our stuff again, and goodbye blackouts.
Well, I mean, the MLB sold like what was called BAM, their BAM technology. They sold that off, so every team got $60 $60 million of infused with money this year. $60 million. So number one, don't go around and tell me that you got $60 million and you can't turn around and have people can't have a payroll a little bit higher with all these other teams whining and crying that Steve Cohen's going for a $500 million payroll. Like, don't think it.
Hey, if the expansion happens, though, I'm gonna say this: if that expansion does happen and the whole realignment and all that kind of stuff, I hope we do get Mets, Yankees, Boston, and Philly. The most toxic division. I love it.
It will be, but you know,
so toxic.
But then we're gonna have the same problems that we had in the past, where when the AL East was the big dogs and they were just beating up on each other, and everyone else got a free ride to go through.
But if we have it that everyone has to play each other, that everyone's playing each other in a fair number of amount of times, it's not really going to be the same anyway, because that's still gone. It's more like the whole basketball way of East-West and same amount of games.
Anything like that could happen. I mean, I'm families together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, I mean, you still have these are as teams as of now that are pretty crappy. Like, Dave sent us over something on a personal chat, which hopefully we can throw up on the screen for everyone. But like, if you look at the Pacific Coast team, which has the Rockies, the A's, the Mariners, and the Giants, the Mariners are the top dog in that right there. Giants are middling, Athletics are rebuilding yet again. The Rockies are just the Rockies.
Yeah, I don't understand how you got the Rockies in the Pacific Coast League when they're in the middle of the country. Or in the West when they're in the middle of the country.
Because there's no other place, because they're more northern, so you get more of the north. Because I mean,
yeah, but
you got
that makes as
the
much
A's
sense.
For the most part. You got the A's, the Mariners, and the Giants. They're all.
You're talking about the Rockies, Dave?
Yeah, that makes about as much sense as putting the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East, and they play in Texas.
But it actually makes more sense for the Rockies to be there.
We're back in the day when the Braves were in the NL West.
Yeah. I get you got to put them
the whole
somewhere.
Dallas Cowboys, but
we'll take a look at this. We'll take a look at this way. They have a Mid-Atlantic region, which is the Orioles. You have Charlotte, but they have Pirates and Nationals. And we'll talk about that expansion in a second. But if you're gonna have but Pirates aren't Mid-Atlantic.
Pittsburgh is not. No, it's not.
It's in Pennsylvania. It's in the mid.
It's in Pittsburgh.
Pennsylvania is a Mid-Atlantic
state. In the west part of Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh is right next to Ohio. If you want Mid-Atlantic, then the Phillies should.
Then how is that Mid-Atlantic?
But they're not Mid-Atlantic.
Mid-Atlantic.
They're not even on the Atlantic. They're not even on the Atlantic coast.
You need to have access to the Atlantic Ocean.
Whatever.
Like, what do they do? Okay, well, yeah, this highway makes it there. That there I have access. No.
Anyway, the realignment would be pretty sick if they were to pull it off.
It'll be fun. I still think that the realignment first and foremost has to deal with the 15 teams. Right now it's 15 teams in Florida, 15 teams in Arizona for spring training. You keep it set up that way. And then you have, and Alex, you were talking about expansion before. So the four, I think it's only 4 cities that are being discussed for the expansion. Vegas is one of them, but that also might be taken off the table if the A's move out there. Nashville, Charlotte, and then
it's still a new market, so I get how they're looking at that way.
Right,
it's still a new market for MLB to grasp.
Correct, I get you. But the other 3 places are Charlotte, Nashville,
Montreal,
and Montreal is the last one.
Yep.
So I'll swing it around those. Yeah, I was gonna say swinging around. Alex, you go first.
What are your thoughts on that? What's wrong with that, Dave? Go ahead.
Montreal, because baseball was so successful there the first time around. Let's go ahead and bring it back. There were like 10 people showing up to baseball games before they moved them to Washington.
I agree.
It was a joke. You could hear a
All right.
pin drop in Olympic Stadium in Montreal.
I'm not gonna deny that. I'm more
All
for
right,
the
all right.
whole Charlotte and Nashville one.
There was one time the Yankees and Expos were playing each other. I think it was like the opening season. It was like the opening week of the season or like late April. And you had people out in the parking lot watching the Montreal Canadiens and Boston Bruins playing a hockey game rather than being inside the stadium watching a baseball game. But then on the flip side, they had Yankees and Blue Jays spring training game up there back in I think 2007 or 2008, and it was sold out. So go figure.
But Toronto's right there on the
Toronto and
border.
Montreal are like 4 hours away from each other, I believe.
But Toronto's on the border.
Yeah.
Well, they're on the border with Detroit, but I get what you're saying. But with going back to Dave's point with the Yankees in Montreal, the reason why it sold out is because Montreal had lost their team already. They had been gone for what 14 years or something like that.
I think the last year was the year that. Well, then in 04, they split in time between Montreal and Puerto Rico. 05 was the inaugural season for the Nationals because Ryan Zimmerman was their first draft pick.
Yeah, so you got to figure. So when the big deal was happening, where John Henry and his group bought the Red Sox, Jeffrey Loria bought the Marlins, and then the Expos became property like a trust underneath MLB. That happened So Marlins won in 2003. No, because the Marlins won in 2003 under Loria, so it had to be in like 2002, 2001, sometime around then.
Oh, something. Gotcha.
Yeah, the sale. So what I'm saying is, a couple of years later, Montreal then wish they still had a baseball team, so of course they're going to sell out. But I want to put this way out there too. There's for a long time, the Tampa Bay Rays have been always dangling out Montreal. There wasn't just this first time around when they wanted that idiotic split season thing that they were trying to pull, which I don't think any of the play. I don't even think the Players Association would have gone for it. They would have gone on strike over that. But they were the Rays whenever they couldn't get something done down in Tampa for a stadium in all the years they were trying, they would just float out the idea we can move to Montreal. Montreal wants us up there, and
it's kind of funny. It's a good thing that they are, or at least they I don't know if they broke ground yet in Tampa yet, but that they're planning on building. But once they break ground, I'll believe it, because right now, then till the break ground happens, they could become the Baltimore Colts for all we know. Move out in the middle of the night, and then all of a sudden it's like we got a whole new team.
They have until I think it's January 1st, or it's got to be at the end of the 2027 season. That's when their lease is up. So in order to stay down in the Tampa Bay area, they have to have broken ground. They have to have that building done. They got to have it done in 4 or 5 years.
4 years.
Yeah. So they have to have it done. So and everything that they're saying down here is that that the Rays approve. Everything's been approved for a developer. The Rays have approved the developer. The city of St. Petersburg has approved the developer. It's going to be they're going to build right next to the Tropicana field.
Have they done any votes for this for you guys up there yet, or at all on that?
I haven't heard of any votes, but all I know is that as the Rays said, that we're now at the starting line, whereas before, like everything else, they weren't even in the picture. There was all just it was flimsy discussions that this was going to happen, that was going to happen. Now they have something concrete. It doesn't seem like they're moving unless there's an act of God that they're going to move across the bay into Hillsborough County, which is Tampa.
Where would they put it though?
In Tampa, they had a couple
crowded already.
They had a couple sites. There was one site downtown, which the Rays should have sold to Vinnick, who owns the Lightning, and he's a property developer, and he would have had openings from property for them. Set it up in downtown Tampa, which would have been a massive, huge thing for them.
But the big thing, you are the Tampa man.
But the other part was they wanted over in Ybor City. They wanted to like an old prison. They were going to knock it down, and they were going to had tons of things there, and what didn't happen. They like that idea right there. They proposed it, and then they just dropped the ball. The Rays didn't do anything, knowing that they didn't want to be there. They just said, "All right, here's the proposal," and nothing. Like MLB had to turn around and shut them down for everything. They said, you didn't even make any attempts here, man. Like we're not going to approve anything that you did here. So
that's crazy. Well, like I said, do they break ground? They could become. I know we're not a football podcast, but like I said, Baltimore Colts move out in the middle of the night and then end up somewhere else.
Hey man, anything's like you said, anything's possible. They could be. I can't foresee it. Well, don't forget to move franchise in baseball. I think it's like $2 billion. They have to pay.
It's a big task. It's not easy.
It is, and I think the only way the A's move is they get some sort of reprieve on that number. Like it's a massive move. That's why there's no moving.
But I okay. For the A's though, I think the move actually would help out though.
Well,
because they who wants to go to Oakland? Like, let's be real. Like, no one. You hear the stories about everyone going to Oakland and then cars getting jacked and it's just at a park and all that kind of stuff. Same thing in San Francisco. I mean, yeah, it's on the other side of the bay and all that kind of stuff, but it's still the people don't want to deal with that. Like, let's go to Vegas where at least you could get more vices as well and have some fun with gambling as well.
So I found something interesting. So I found a news article from September 29th of 2004. It cost $440 million for Washington, D.C. to pay the franchising tag fee to have the Expos moved to Washington. That was in 2004. $440 million.
And Mark, you said it's what now?
I think it's $2 billion. I've heard the number get thrown out there at $2 billion.
That's crazy inflation right there.
It's valuation.
$440 million. That's $20 million less than what Mike Trout is getting paid for his 10-year contract.
but we're talking about
baseball.
We're talking about valuations here. We're not a math pod here at all. But Alex, you're down in the Miami area. Marlins sold for what $1.3 billion, and they're not valued at anywhere near that. You know what I'm saying? The Mets sold for $2.6 billion or something like that, or something. The Mets. So Steve Cohen bought them for like 2.4, 2.6 billion.
Yeah, it was almost $3 billion.
Yeah, like then you got the Nationals that are coming up for sale. You at one point the Angels were going to be up for sale. Those were going to be two. Yeah, those were going to be $2 bills each at least.
True.
So I mean, why? It's insane money. But why not? Why would you say? Why would they have like a $2 billion relocation fee for anybody? It's like having a brand new. It's like you're buying a brand new franchise. You know.
Well, I mean,
you
are because you're changing the name.
You can keep the name. Changing location.
The Expos moved to Washington.
Did you freeze or?
It looked like he froze. But yeah, the Expos moved to Washington, and but they were also part of. They were owned by baseball at the time. So and baseball said that Montreal was done with. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. I think Alex, like you said, it's good for Oakland. I think that for the Rays, I think baseball they severely want baseball to be down here for some reason in Florida, even though you can see the attendance on both the Marlins and the Rays that it doesn't work.
It might not work, but right. I understand why baseball wants to stay down here. I do.
So do I.
Like, it's as big of the state is. They see the value of it, especially where it's always nice weather. The only problem they probably have is Tampa's going to make sure at least it needs to have a retractable roof or a dome for sure, and not a bad dome.
No, they're going to do it. They're going to do a regular 100% dome, but they're going to do like the Marlins did, which is have windows to open up.
That's okay. We'll see. That could work out then. Go ahead.
The one reason why baseball isn't working in that area of Florida because it's in St. Petersburg. Let's be honest. I mean,
why doesn't it work in Miami then?
Because Miami, we don't market it very well. Like don't like ownership does not market it correctly, and it doesn't help realistically. The Sinclair Group, realistically, that owns so much of the rights for baseball to be seen out there, they're hindering it as well. Because I'm down here and I got YouTube TV. It's not like I can watch I could watch a Panthers game on YouTube TV, or I could watch a Heat game, or I could. It's like if I'm watching any of those games, I have to have one of those streaming services to actually somehow do it, and then use a VPN as well, so that way I'm not in the area to do it. There's no way for me to be able to do it to stream local games.
Well, what they do is get rid of that and create their own sports network. I mean, a lot of teams have their own regional network. Yankees were the first. Yankees were the first one to do it. The Mets, which is funny,
that still doesn't help out the fact that you can't stream it though, even still, because the streaming rights cannot go out there.
Well, because if you can stream, you can stream it. The reason why that you can't see it on the stream, just like where I am, I can't. If I want to watch if I want to watch the Yankees versus the Rays, I can't watch it on the streaming. It's because of the streaming wars with the Sinclair group. They wanted a certain amount of money from Hulu, from Sling, from YouTube Live, all that stuff. They wouldn't pay it, so it all got taken away. What I'm saying is that if the Marlins turned around and had their own regional network, they would create their own deals with all that, and then you could stream it.
But MLB is already in the work of that too right now. They're right now. MLB is working on is hoping on the area of the Sinclair group not being able to pay their bill, because if they don't pay their bill, it's already been stated that it's already like looking at they might just buy the rights then, so that way they can stream it out there and get rid of blackout dates too.
So one thing about the Marlins, I will say, I think the reason why baseball hasn't really worked in Miami as of late is because they've kind of been treated like the redheaded stepchild. Wayne Huizenga owns the team in '97. You had Rob Nen,
Correct.
Kevin Brown, Levon Hernandez,
He
Gary
bought the
Sheffield,
team. He bought that championship. Yes.
So you had all those players. They win a championship. What happens the next day? The players get sold off. Then they're not good again until 2003. You had Josh Beckett, Brad Penny, Uge Urbina, Ivan Rodriguez, to name a few, Miguel Cabrera,
Correct.
Juan Pierre. What happens? They win the World Series. They all get sold off piece by piece by piece. And it's like, what? I guarantee you Marlins fans though are like, why get excited about baseball when our team, they get good, win a championship, and the team gets sold off for spare parts?
The 2003 team, I will say, with the Marlins, they held on to that team a little longer than selling it off the next year. They tried to add.
They needed to by that point, because they were already losing money. They needed to sell that team at that point. The Wayne Huizenga one, that one was overnight. Yes, like it was the biggest news out there. Like the minute that Huizenga one happened, it was like you woke up in the morning, the whole team was gone. You're like, what happened to my world championship team?
Right, but the 2003, but the 2000
go to the Dodgers.
Yeah. But don't forget though, the 2003 Marlins, they added on pieces the next couple of years. They got Al Leiter, they brought in other guys. I mean, it didn't work out, but they added on, and then they had to sell off. Then Jeffrey Lurie and David Sampson, they did that thing again where, hey, they got the new stadium. They brought in Jose Reyes. They had
Zambrano,
Mark Burley. They brought all these guys. They brought all these guys in first year. They tanked. They were horrible. Everyone was Heath Bell was on that team. Everyone was just bad. Sold them all off the next year, and you're right when you say, Dave, that they come in there, they buy all these players, they won a couple chips, and then they sell them off. The Wayne Huizenga one, you're right about that. The next one from the 2003 Marlins, that one was a little bit. They tried to capitalize on much, but they couldn't. The 2000, when was it? 2011, 2012, when that stadium opened. Alex,
about there.
12.
Yeah, I mean they had that 1 year. Boom, it was horrible. They sold everything off. They sell the team again. You know, they had Jeter's group bought the team. What's the first thing Jeter's team did?
Sold everything. Yes, and that's the problem. That is the problem.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they look at the books and then they realize the books are upside down horribly, and thinking that, okay, let's sell, and then we're going to make this and fix anything. And I don't know, man. Like the Marlins need an ownership that actually cares about the team and actually cares about baseball and not anything else. But yes.
All right, so since we became a Marlins podcast,
I know, like what that's happened right now. Like, oh my gosh, guys, what are we doing?
We're baseball enthusiasts.
Baseball. Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We can translate. We can take this on the road, man. We can take this show on the road anywhere, any of the cities. Talk about any of the teams. But
Exactly.
speaking of, let's speak it this way. Speaking of Lone Depot Park,
Marlins fans, if you're listening to us, get your team back right. Don't have us Yankee fans helping your team out.
We've done that for too many years. Marlins just sat there pocketed $25 million a year for 10 years from the luxury taxes and the revenue share. Never put into that team. In.
Marlins ownership is happy.
Speaking of, but let's get back on track.
Sold out.
Oh yeah, well, same thing happens to the Rays. Same thing happens everywhere else. But Lone Depot is going to be holding. Is going to probably has the World Baseball Classic final. So, how does everyone feel about? Is everyone happy that the World Baseball Classic's back?
Yeah. It's back. It's been a while. I think the last one was what?
Okay.
2019?
2017.
17, yeah.
Well, you know today that yeah, because don't forget because of COVID, they didn't do it because of COVID. Yeah. And today the rosters were announced for all the teams.
Yes, they have.
Doesn't matter. The Dominican Republic's just going to run the table on everybody. So.
No. Team America.
Everyone's thought that for years, and they haven't. They haven't. Everyone thought that last year. I think when the U.S. won, they played the DR.
Mm-hmm.
And the U.S.
Just look at their pitching staff. It is stacked.
Are you American, sir? Are you American?
I am. Dude.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm gonna have to check in your citizenship, sir, because you are not rooting for our country, sir.
I am rooting for our country. I'm stating a fact that the Dominican Republic team is stacked as hell. That's all I'm saying. I hope we win it all. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
So
I mean, we won in 2017.
Wainwright, Cortez, Mookie Betts, JT, Will Smith, those, Mike Trout, you don't think that they could take care of that? Come on, man, get out of here.
Am I reading this wrong, or is Framber Valdez not playing on the team?
Really? When did that change?
I'm looking at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was on the original preliminary roster. It was him, Christian Javier.
You got Sandy Alcantara's on the team still. You got Rosny Contreras, good old Yankee, right? The Yankee farmhand there. Maybe it's just certain. They're playing. They'll have them pitch in certain times, like certain levels, and they'll take them out at other times. But this
they must have alternates.
Yeah, because this one I'm looking at right here doesn't have that at all. It has their outfield is not bad. They got Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Eloy Jimenez, which he's more of a DH than anything else. Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, your infielders for them are pretty good. You got Jeremy Pena, shortstop alone. I mean, you got Jeremy Pena, you got Rafi Delvers, you got Cano's on that team, Vladdy Jr., Wander Franco, Willie Adames. I mean, you got those three shortstops right there. You got Manny Machado on that team, Ketel Marte's on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Gary Sanchez, Francisco Mejia. I mean, it's not as
Sanchez does not matter.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not as dominant as you think it is.
It's not that. No.
Yeah, Wandy Peralta's not on this roster either. And
I will be honest with you. I think it's Team America and Team Japan. Those are going to be the two teams. I'm not even stressing out about. I like America.
Is Tanaka playing for Team Japan?
Who?
Tanaka. A good old friend, Masahiro Tanaka.
Well, let's go over there.
No, I don't think so.
I don't see him there.
I don't think so.
Interesting. I thought he would.
But I'm wondering where Shohei Ohtani is because he's supposed to be.
He's in Japan. He's on Team Japan. Yes, he is.
Yeah, but I don't see his name
announced
there.
It.
No, he's already been announced. He's been announced today.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if these is
what you're looking at.
It's from the MLB website.
You know what? Maybe MLB needs to step up their game and know how to update their website a little better, and not have ESPN do a better job than them.
Maybe.
Speaking of the World Baseball Classic, what do we all make of the latest news that's come out about Brian Cashman pulling Severino from Team Dominican Republic? Because everything I've been reading, he's not happy.
Who's not happy? Sevy? Guess
Mhm.
what? Hey, Sevy, guess what, buddy? Who pays your bills? Just saying. Who pays your bills? It ain't Dominican Republic. It is the Yankees. If your boss tells you something, your boss tells you something. And Glaber, have fun in Venezuela. We want your trade value go up. Go up.
I think this benefits Glaber a lot going into this season,
I think it benefits the
playing in this
Yankees.
tournament.
I think it benefits the Yankees.
I think all around does. I think I'm fine with Sevy staying at home. I mean, he's had big injuries in the past. He's pitched. He's in what is it since 2019? He has pitched. He has what 20 offhand 26 starts I think in the past 3 years. So he doesn't need to blow out that arm or blow out a lat or do anything else. When the bottom line is you're going for the 28th chip.
Yep. Who pays your bills?
You turn around, you keep him under lock and key down here in Tampa. Make sure he's good to go as our number 3 starter. Cole, Rodon, Sevy, Nestor's over there with Team USA. Let him get some innings in there under his belt. Boom, good to go. I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it.
I wonder how they're going to manage Nestor at the beginning of the season, coming off the World Baseball Classic.
Well, he's going to be coming in hot, but I think they'll probably keep him to five innings, maybe 6 tops. They're not going to let him. They're not going to stretch him out because he's already got innings under his belt.
Yeah, be interesting.
Maybe another phantom DL stint in the middle of the season. In August.
No.
Please God, no.
No, I said a phantom one where he's 15 day. You just turn around, you just let him take a breather from the innings that he's doing, or from starting the season early. Let him chill.
Okay, if he is 2 games, 3 games away from having 20 wins, okay, yeah, let him have a phantom, relax that arm. If he's not close to 20 wins, nope. Sorry.
What if he's exceeding all of his inning numbers like he did last year?
Guess what? Then, if that's what's happening, buddy boy, you're gonna rest. Like I said, though, what I'm caring about is the wins right now. Be close to 20 wins. Be on the right side of the average to be near 20.
I would say cut him loose this year and just let him go. He proved he could do it last year. Last year, he had more of the training wheels on him because he had never done this before.
That's not how baseball is anymore.
I get it.
I agree with you. That would have been my exact thing too. Cut him loose too, but you can't. You have to look realistically right now. And the way baseball is, the only time anyone is being cut loose to go all out is when playoff season baseball kicks in. Till then, nobody is going over. Like what? For a fact, it's going to be Cole 7, Rodon 7, Nestor 5 to 6, Sevy 5 to 6.
You got to guys
Frankie
remember
Montas.
something.
Frankie Montas maybe 5.
Montas might not even play this year. He might need season-ending shoulder surgery
Exactly.
now. Exactly. What a waste.
No one knows that. I've heard that. Everyone's heard that rumor. I have not seen anything else about it. So I don't know why the Yankees are holding.
We'll see,
that's supposed to happen. It's to be. That's a come back and wait and see kind of moment on that one. But
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
This is pure speculation on my part, but I'm starting to wonder if it's a rotator cuff issue.
Why not just have like anything? Why not anything? Could be a capsule, like one of the capsules or something like that. I think he's had other surgery.
Shoulder inflammation. I mean to have a whole off season to heal up going into spring training and it still being an issue sounds like rotator cuff to me. I mean, I'm not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination. This is just me speculating. I think he's got a rotator cuff injury.
Did you stay at a Ramada Inn recently?
No, but he did go to on base to the med doctor, okay, and they said just take some ibuprofen, okay? Just take some ibuprofen, then you'll be okay. 800 milligrams, sir.
Yep, here's your 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. Have a nice day. Peace.
Exactly. So that's what
Oh,
I'm
you
going to
just got
say.
your foot cut off? Yeah, here's your 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. Have a nice one. Let me cauterize that for you while I'm at it.
So talking about the whole rotation, let's have fun. Debbie Garcia, will he have 4 wins, 1, 2, or 3? Come on. Because I think he'll have at least 4 chances this year.
He's not a starting pitcher.
That's why I say
No
he'll
way,
have
bro.
throughout the year 4 chances to have a possibility for a win.
Now, I think at best he'll
He's
he'll
gonna
have 2 chances. I think he'll get 2 wins. If they bring him up, he'll get 2 chances.
Let's say 1 win, 3 losses. 1 win, 3 losses for the season on him.
Nope. Dead weight. Moving on.
To be honest with you, I don't care about the wins and losses for Debbie. I care about the ERA. That's what I want to know.
That's
If his ERA, if he as a relief pitcher, if his ERA is in the 3s, I'm happy. I'll be fine with that as a relief pitcher.
He pitched so bad in AAA last year, they had to send him back to AA. He was getting shelled so bad. He had an ERA of over 9.
Yeah, but that's after the Yankees screwed, and he both screwed the pooch on everything. He got rid of the fastball, he got rid of the curveball. He's now a slider. He's a slider, cutter, sinker pitcher, or something like that. I forget. I forget what the 3 of them were, but he lost his curveball was the best in the system at one point. He lost the curveball. He's got sliders. He's doing cutters. I think he's doing sinkers. Those are the 3 pitches that he's been working on. That is what everything's been moved to. Oh, Mama Guilfoyle. Yes, it was a pleasure to meet you too when I saw you. Love Mama Guilfoyle.
About time she showed up. God.
Well, don't be mean to Mom. We're gonna have to give you a whooping. We're gonna have to give you a whooping for Mom. Don't worry, Mom. We're gonna whoop him up on the Monday show.
We got you covered, Mama Guilfoyle.
What are you mailing Will Smith slaps from Miami? Is that what you're doing? A slap in a box?
We could have something else mailed to you from Miami.
No. That
Do we have any more sponsors for the day?
Really? Stop.
Mark, do we have any more sponsors for the day?
No, we got SeatGeek for the day today. Next week we'll bring somebody. We'll have somebody else in.
Remember that, guys. Use our code for SeatGeek.
Yep, Bronx Muchachos, one word, all capital letters.
Hey,
Dave, take it
on the first purchase.
Take us home, Dave.
So thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. As usual, every Thursday night at 9:00, except for next week. We got a little bit of a program adjustment for next week. We'll be coming to you live at 9 p.m. on Friday night. We got a special someone coming on. Could be a top prospect. Could be someone off the major league roster. Could be a writer. Just got to stay tuned to our socials next week to figure out who we're bringing on next week. To everybody across the pond listening to us from all around the world, we thank you very much. Jump into the polls, and Argentina went from 18th to 14th on our list of international listens. For Danny, who couldn't make it tonight, Alex, Mark, and Manny behind the scenes, David, Bronx Muchachos signing off.